SHS, or also known as Senior High School. On a voyage across the world, everyone you'd meet would have different things to say about it. For some, it was an era of self discovery, a gap year in disguise where youngins fall under copious trial and errors as means of finding path for dreams. For others, it was a moment mixed with sadness and laughter. A momentary lapse in juvenescence that entwines maturity with immaturity. One having both childish whims and responsibilities whilst thin line between kid and adult blurring. Though high school is short, nothing but a fine speck of dust in the cosmos of life. All would concur how unforgettable it is. Not that it's good, not that it's all bad, just memorable. It's the kind of event that makes you say, I miss it once over. In fact, I remember it just like it was yesterday, even though for me, 3.5 years have passed. There she was, 16 years of age, full of ambitions and expectations, yet so fearful deep down nonetheless. I mean, what do you expect? I was nothing short of an innocent, naive soul, unexposed to a world outside academia and sports. Wanting to get rid of familiarity, I took the risk and got out of the institution I spent a decade and one on, in spite of many god-awful mishaps warning me not to leave. I stepped out of the lair's comfort and ventured into the jungle with an open mind bounded by curiosity. Admittedly, bidding goodbye to what's used to was arduous, to say the least, but it was a challenge ready to be received. I bid my dear old friends farewell and welcomed strangers with warm embrace. Even before class started, our first days together were mad, exploring every nook and cranny that the university I fancy has to offer, going from one building to another, walking on lands full of trees and greens, rooms and pathways as ancient as times, doing the randomest kinds of poses and shots as we go by. Soon enough, the epoch-making day descended upon us, an astronomical occasion that transfigures ordinary human beings such as ourselves into full-fledged Tamashans by surging our veins with pontifical and royal blood, through simply crossing the Red Sea we call Arch of the Centuries, a gateway that bred the finest men in Filipino history. What's once a blue dragon has now turned into a growling tiger. Afterwards came festivity, a celebration for merging our identities. We entered the site that turned day into night, using what's artificial as lights. Lots of partying, cheering, waving, and dancing pervaded the hour, morphing our welcoming into a concert we've never been to, nor seen before. Eventually, actual classes came knocking on our doors, and to be honest, I felt overwhelmed by the hardness and intensity of lessons I could not fathom of handling prior before. Projects and assignments needed my utmost undivided attention, to the point that weekends seemed like a weekday, and a good 7 to 6 class almost put a 9 to 5 job to shame. My mind went on a spiral, shocked, truly. It makes one wonder, how did I manage all that for 2 full years? Well, the answer is simple. It's due to my newfound mates. The peers I've gained were out of the ordinary, full of life, personality, and hilarity. Total opposite of the conservative and spoiled me. Yes, at times they're too open and blunt, but I owe such merriment attitude thanks for shaping the serious recitations and petas into something fun and glorious. Instead of straight-up presentations, we'd get flip-top battles, dance challenges, video realness, and satirical acting shows. When the going gets tough in between lectures, our airdrops would be on 24/7, sending each other memes and wacky pics in attempts of veiling a mare's nest. Group works should be formal, but also not at all, most indubitably concerning Humes 5. We'd label ourselves as the best group ever. No explanation needed because we just are. The occasional fights, disagreements, and competition existed still. Conflict of interest inadvertently forges our bond stronger. Diversity compels you to discern things in a broader perspective, you see? After school hours was, of course, where the magic unfolds. It sums up 75% of my 11th to 12th grade runtime. The gang and I took advantage of the campus's facilities, sitting by known benches, testing various makeups, eating our bellies out, and talking one another's ears off until moonlight falls. Hanging inside dorms out the gates watching horror flicks is another alternative, followed by a round of card games, never have I evers, and heaps of alcoholic drinks. Indeed, Cuervo was the favorite. Though, next thing you know, it's 11:30 and my ass got beaten. High school is exhilarating. We'd go on trips and make special holidays even more special, but it's far from perfect. Along with its highs comes its lows. This might have been a period where I engulfed into new arenas of creativity, but it's also where I started to suffer from a disease called overthinking. Regardless of negatives to the positives, I treasure these moments like a baby. I'd humbly decline if you asked me to relive it all over again, but I'm still thankful for what has passed. To the version of Steph circa 2017, here I am, closing this chapter of you. Senior high school, or also known as SHS. I thank you.